What is happening, everybody? My name is Sumed Chatterjee from the Flozone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means I help you perform better and feel better. Today, I want to speak about harmony and the flow states. Now, I first want to explain the difference between harmony and balance. Balance, in a sense, requires compromise and sacrifice. And sometimes that might be necessary, but doing that too much makes you apologetic, makes you compromise everything, and it's working from a paradigm of separation. It's like this or this. So the way I want to describe it to you is through the analogy of a seesaw.
Oh my god!
We talk about work-life balance as if our work has to suffer in order for our relationships to work. Or if we focus on our health, then the rest of our life will suffer, right? For instance. However, when we think of this sacrifice mindset, it sort of puts us into the framework of, oh, I'll always have to lose something in order to gain something else. Whereas harmony is more like an orchestra.
Other orchestras use this one. This one is the giant poodle formation. It's very popular. This next one, this is the Tetris formation.
Where all the musical instruments are playing at once and you can control the volume of the instruments because you're the conductor of your life. You see, I've noticed that a lot of successful people in their lives, they don't split their decisions and life purpose into this one thing or this thing or that thing. It sort of all plays acoustically together, like a beautiful string quartet. And when you can find that harmony in your life, where all the pieces of your life, your health, your relationship, your finances, and career, all of them are playing together in the harmony of your life. You've reached equanimity, and through that balance, it's not a balance of sacrifice anymore, it's a harmony, it's a playing together of all the instruments, understanding that you can have all of these other things in your life that remind you of the wholeness and the oneness. You want to achieve harmony without harming many. Sometimes when we get into achieving harmony, we remove, we subtract, and we subtract so much, and sometimes we start to get so one-track minded that all of the other elements of our life start to suffer. However, this is actually counterproductive. We want all the areas of our life to work together, not only one area to make work and then all the other areas suffer. There is a level of compromise at times, like in relationships, you're going to have to compromise at certain times. You're not the same person. Things are going to be misunderstood. So you want to achieve that harmony within the relationship. That's what you want to at least strive towards. Same in your health, same in your finances, same in anything else. Because it is the yin and the yang, right? It is the dark and the light. We can't ignore one part and just work on one. All of the pieces have to sort of be able to integrate together. And that's the beauty of this. Any kind of healing or inner work or psychology work is that we're just merging the pieces together, blending so that we can all come from that harmony or that oneness. You see, the yin and yang, if you look at it, it's almost like an S. And if we can walk that fine line of that S, we maintain harmony. A lot of people have also mentioned this idea of how we are actually in the darkness and there is this tunnel of light. And once we walk through that tunnel of light in the yin and yang, we go into the other side where most of it is light and there's very little darkness on the other side. Now, in Tai Chi and Taoism and martial arts, you look at it in terms of offense and defense. So what Bruce Lee does, he attacks while he's defending and defending while he attacks. What I understand in terms of that and as a philosophy of life is that all of this harmony is being created together, and that if we take our eye off one thing, if we're just constantly pushing and not pulling, if we're resisting and not persisting, and understanding that there are two pieces of the puzzle, and the more that we sort of merge these dualities and enjoy this dance, this chaotic black and white dance intermingling together, the more that we can come from that framework of like enjoying life and really living it fully. Yin Yang is a great symbol for the flow state because it is that discipline on one side and that surrender on the other, and that finding the balance between those two and the harmony between those two is the way towards achieving that flow state and living from that flow state. And that comes from living throughout microflow. And I'll talk about that in a different video where I bring up mindfulness. However, in this particular video, I want you to focus on maintaining harmony in your life instead of constantly compromising and figuring out different ways of like, this can't work without this other piece. Instead, it's like, yes, they can work together. How can we merge them together so that they can work? You know, in my life, I've had all these interests in my life, like several interests. I used to be hyper creative. I used to like drawing. I used to like writing books. I used to like rapping and singing. I used to like anything creative, you name it, I used to do it. However, by doing all of those pieces at once, it left me scattered. So what did I do? I found my passion that can combine all of those. I can use my love for cartoons in the posts that I make as a flow state coach. I can combine the different hip hop elements that I've learned throughout when I speak in public or when I speak to you guys like this. I'm using a kind of rhythm and a flow, just like I used to rap, and I still do it as a hobby, so check out my music. I just feel so high, consciousness rolling up higher than rocket ships. Chakras all open with confidence, sleeping on me like you stuck in Savasana. But besides that, you know, I found a way to combine all the pieces together instead of separate them and be like, scatter myself in many different directions. Instead, you want to become a laser beam, and by becoming the laser beam, you can actually combine and overlap those pieces together so that they can all work towards that oneness. If that makes sense, give me a like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. May the flow be with you, and stay legendary.